there will be no sustainable future or development without a culture of respect to one another. To conclude, let me mention the fact that I'll be part of the Civil Society Forum to be held in the coming days by UNCTAD, so the UN Conference on Trade and Development, which is celebrating this year the year of creative economy. And I'll be very happy to convey the results or any message you would like me to convey in this context. So to end, I just want to thank you again for this opportunity, and thank you for your attention. And of course, I remain open to address any questions you may have, and looking forward to the rest of the event.
Thank you so much, Veronica, for this powerful message. The next, we'd love to bring up Ms. Isabel Varela, and she is a sustainability consultant and eco-fashion activist. Isabel, take it away.
Thank you so much, Yuko, and thank you to everyone being here. Okay. So it was June 22nd, 2010 at 9:45 a.m. I paid for my favorite buttery croissant from the Nordstrom E-Bar, about to clock in. I walked in proud, wearing my newly purchased Tabitha Simmons wedge booties, and headed towards my manager. I told her, I have bad news and I have good news. I stretched out my hand with a thick, white, crisp envelope. Inside it, my resignation letter. I was 1 week away from not working for the man and working for myself to build my fashion empire. Named designer to watch across the South, I had a studio in downtown Dallas, and my line of women's wear clothing was in 5 stores. I was dreaming of my next goal of having stores across the country and the world. 4 months later, I got a call from my brother. He said, is everything okay? Are you having money issues? I just got off the phone with the car insurance. Your car's about to get repossessed. Oh, everything's okay. Don't worry about it. It's just because I've had some business expenses and got a little behind on my rent. I'm okay. I got it covered. As soon as I got off the phone with my brother, everything around me stood still. My head was spinning. My heart was pounding out of my chest, and I felt like I was going into a full panic attack because all I saw were my dreams and everything I've worked for disappearing and crumbling to pieces. The truth is that I hadn't paid my car bills, my rent, my utilities for over 3 months. I was broke. I was going from one boyfriend to the next, living out of my car, living out of my car, drowning in debt. Not $10,000, not $30,000, but $100,000 of debt. Not from my business, not from my school loans. It was debt from buying clothes. Hello, my name is Isabel Varela, and I was a former fashion addict with over 300 pairs of shoes. My love for fashion and clothing became a self-destructive obsession, constantly needing my next hit of dopamine and validation through shopping. Fashion addiction is real, and fashion addiction is also ignored since it is socially sanctioned and celebrity fueled. But as it discovered, it can be just as deadly as crack, alcohol, or any other drug. The devastating effects accrue not just to the individual, but to society and to the environment at large. You know, after the phone call with my brother, I had 2 choices: to continue sabotaging myself and shop again, or take the immense wake-up call from the universe and face my addiction. The thought of sabotaging my dreams of a fashion empire and finally moving to New York City was enough for me to look at the enormous amount of debt. The very next day, I pulled out my 7 maxed out credit card statements to finally look at my bills. And a week later, I got into counseling, got a full-time job, and put myself into debt management program. We can look at fashion addiction as a microcosm of society today when it comes to consumerism. We want more and more material things like clothes, cars, electronics, and more. We constantly crave instant gratification and pseudo-validation through material possessions in the vain hope of filling an empty void, which is exactly why I do the work that I do. I was part of the problem, and I made a commitment to myself to become part of the solution. My irresponsible behaviors were not just hurting me financially, but I was contributing to climate change. I actually call it climate decimation, mass extinction, land degradation, and toxic chemicals contaminating the environment. I purchased clothes I did not need and wore them only once or twice, and I saw clothing as a disposable item. And acknowledging my debt and seeking professional help was a significant turning point in my life. Although it was frightening and intimidating to face the truth, of how I've been living ignoring my issues for so long. Once I faced my darkness, freedom, wisdom, and light were on the other side. And living in New York City has opened up so many opportunities, with my work being part activism, part empowerment, and part environmentalism. It took me 7 years to pay off all of my debt, and made my last payment in 2018, which was the beginning of my new creative path. The irony is, the more I faced my truths, the more I healed. As I healed, my determination, self-love, and self-respect continued to increase. At the same time, my debt steadily decreased. And I freed myself of the clothing that was burdening me by selling, donating, recycling, and not shopping for over 2 years. After my last payment in 2018, I had my very first art gallery exhibition called Closed Minded, where I screened my award-winning documentary for the first time called Fashion Addict. And I was named Changemaker of the Year by the New York City Fair Trade Coalition. Fashion Addict is a 12-minute short film showcasing my personal journey from fashion addict to healthy fashion advocate. For this exhibition, I created 2 10-foot mannequins with 10-foot garments, I call them my giants, created by upcycling a lot of my clothing. It was about 10,000 scraps, which represented the tons of trash in the landfills. I also created a 7-foot by 29-foot closed wall that represented the overwhelm I felt mentally and how I overcame and turned my life around. The event was an interactive representation demonstrating the physical and the psychological toll that the industry has on humanity. I have now been able to screen this documentary and speak on fashion addiction at colleges, universities, including NYU, Pratt, LIM, FIT, Drexel, and many others. And I've also been able to partner with sustainable organizations nationally, including Bloomberg, Donate NYC, and the NYC Mayor's Office of Sustainability. I work as a sustainable consultant, life coach, and master tailor. As a master tailor, I help clients use what they already own, bringing new life to things that would have been discarded. As a life coach, I teach women how to overcome fashion addiction by increasing their self-love, self-respect, and to live more sustainably. And as a consultant, I've helped some of the biggest brands, including LVMH, Balmain, and Saks, implement corporate social responsibility. You know, the phone call with my brother was a trigger I needed to wake up and face my fashion addiction, because I believe a healthier relationship with clothing can help to build a healthier relationship with ourselves and the environment. And the creative industry plays a huge role in society. It is a way to express vulnerability, which I believe is a superpower, and to create a safe space for all of us. It helps us to change ourselves and to open our hearts while also changing the world, because as we heal, the world heals. So I ask you to learn from my mistakes so you can also be part of the change, because clothing, art, and fashion, we're all here to stay, right? But I want to make sure that we are too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isabel, with this powerful, powerful message. Next up, we're bringing up Omar Lawrence. We just saw him perform, so you see where his heart is at. So Omar, we'll bring you back up.
I have returned, everybody. So I'm gonna base my address on decoding the poem that I shared at the beginning of this meeting. It's a poem called If. It was inspired by the famous Rudyard Kipling poem of the same name. And I think that it is a good analogy for the message that I have to share. We're here in celebration of the effects that arts and culture have on our greater society at large for the positive. And what I want to talk about is the human imagination. I think that it is one of the greatest gifts, if not the greatest gift and distinctive quality in humans, that we can see a possibility that does not yet exist, that isn't real in any material or physical sense, but you could experience it as real in between your ears, in your mind. You could look at a desert plain and see pyramids. You could look into the ocean and see ships where there are no ships, or look into the sky and think, what would happen if I bent a piece of metal and engineered it in such a way that it could carry tons and passengers halfway across the world. And so, how does that relate to the poem and to my journey as an artist? Well, growing up as a first generation American from a Jamaican immigrant family in the Bronx, New York, the neighborhood and the society around me, it offered me a vision of what was possible for me in life and what was not possible, of what goals were appropriate to pursue, of what ways of living were desirable. And in my mind, I saw that narrative a lot of the times as leading to failure and destruction and negativity. And so I didn't find myself in the version of life that was presented to me by the culture that I was born into, by the neighborhood that I was born into. But see, here is the gift of the human imagination. By feeding my mind a different diet of music, of books, and learning about the stories of cultural innovators and great business people of the past and great artists of the past, I to begin to conceptualize a different kind of life where I could grow and cultivate a talent and an eloquence and ability to articulate myself and use that to recreate life around me in the image that I wanted as opposed to just the one that was given to me. And so my meaning behind the poem that I shared was this. I think that our outcomes in life don't just happen by accident. They flow from the blueprint that we have laid out about who we would like to become and how we envision ourselves getting there. And that word if is powerful, in my opinion, in my view, because it deals with possibility. Whatever you see as being possible for your life on a philosophical level or an abstract level is how you begin to think on a daily basis. It's the people that you surround yourself with, it's the opportunities that you see where another person will see an obstacle, but because you've expanded the range of what you think is possible to achieve what you think is possible to become, then you could begin having the thought patterns of a person who has achieved that or who has became that. And then if you have the thought patterns of that person that you see yourself being in the future, then you can have the actions of that person. You can take the initiative of that person. And little by little by little, this is how you go from one mode of life to another mode of life. So before I cultivated the gift of my poetry, I was a shy person. I was not very confident. I didn't see my life as having any great or special meaning in particular. And I envisioned that one day I would be somebody who people would find inspiring, someone who people would look to for advice, someone who would be respected and have an authority and be listened to. And at the time that I proclaimed that to myself as a youth of 11, 12, 13, 15 years old, think about the movies where Indiana Jones or whatever hero has to cross this big gulf between one cliff and another without a rope. How did they do it? So between point A and point B, there was no bridge across. But as I put one foot in front of the other, the opportunities presented themselves to live up to the aspiration that I set in my mind. So I do think that as if we don't plan for our lives or set a blueprint for our lives or to take a grasp on our own vision of possibility and then actively work towards that, then someone else will decide for you. And if we allow that to happen, then we're squandering the gift of our imagination and our freedom and autonomy to live and engage with life on our own terms. That's the gist of the crux of what I would like to share in my message this morning. The poem that I shared is from a book that I recently wrote, Omar, Man of Words. And I also have it as music. And the story behind that is, at the time that I decided that I wanted to be an author, when I was 14 years old, there were no signs. There were no signs around. Excuse me one second. Hello. So at the time that I decided that I wanted to be an author, there were no signs, there was no guidance, there was no advice in the neighborhood. So please reference book. I'll put the links and everything in the chat. I don't want to go on speaking and hog up all of the airtime. But all I would say is that I wrote down this goal that I had on the wall, on the walls of my bedroom on post-it notes, and then I just pursued it without knowing how it would happen. And some 10, 15 years later, I've achieved it several times over and become the inspiring person, not in my own words, but in the words of other people who get to experience me that I wanted to be. So I figured that if in the 10 years from the time that I declared this crazy unachievable goal of mine as a child, then in the next 10 years, the goals that I have now that seem so far out of reach and impossible can be achieved in the same way. So thank you. That's all I had to share.
Thank you very much, Omar. And we will definitely put the details about his book in the chat. And the next we have Camille Alvarez, and he's the founder of MyPad, as well as a connectologist, which he refers himself as. Camille, take it away.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And thank you first and foremost to Yoko for putting this together. You are truly incredible. And I will begin my talk today, just keying into your vision for today, which is to heal, to connect, and to change. Yeah. So again, 2021 is a remarkable year. I mean, following what we've all been through. And many of you now know that the United Nations declared 2021 as the International Year for the Creative Economy. So it is fitting that we're having this talk during the ongoing UN General Assembly. So again, Yoko, thank you for just being a visionary. Once you picked up on the idea, I just saw you run with it, and it's incredible to see what you're doing with it. Okay, so well done. And to everyone else, just to let you know that though I would say I'm not a creative, I'm a diplomat by training. Just to be here, to hear your perspective, to hear Isabel's story, to hear Omar really in your element, really warms my heart. And I'm really here to, be a bridge builder between the creative world and my world, which is more of the diplomatic and, governance space. So thank you so much. So back to the theme about healing. So let me begin there. You heard Isabel's story, right? The world is in need of a lot of healing. And each and every one of us, like, Isabel mentioned, when you heal, right, the world heals. So to creatives who are out there, I want you not to underestimate the power you have in storytelling to create healing for the world. Because in telling stories of the things that we have not done well as a people, as a collective, you are able to inspire the minds who want to do better, So creatives, if you're listening, your music, your art, your film has the power to heal the world. And that's why we love you and what you do. So no matter what the world says about your gift and your possibility, you always remember why you're here, what your contribution is to the collective. And that, first and foremost, really is about healing a world that really is in need of that. Right. And the second part of it, connect, it resonates highly with me because I am the connectologist. And what that means is that I connect, right, I connect people to new and higher possibilities. So I connect people to possibility, people to purpose, people to new and higher possibilities, because in becoming the best versions of ourselves, that's how we begin to create, the world that we desire, right? So being a connectologist for me really is what my gift is to the world, and I've committed to continue to give that gift of connectology to the world to create win-win outcomes, right? So that second part definitely connects with me, Yoko. So well done. When I saw it, it just resonated with me to heal the world, to connect the world. And then let me talk about the change that needs to happen. You see, change is the most inevitable thing in all of human history, right? We evolve and we become better. And the way we become better is by hearing stories, by being touched by music, art. These are the things that really moves, humanity forward. And it is unprecedented, the change that we've experienced, just in the space of 2 years, right? And I hope it's for the better for the world. And that's why I am incredibly honored to be here with you, to be with the creative world, to be supporting the creative world right now, to support you in creating the change that the world desires. So just to frame the conversation for you, again, I am Camille, and I am the CEO of the most influential people of African descent. I've been working with the United Nations, my team and I, for the last 4 or 5 years in support of the International Decade for People of African Descent. And what we have done is to, connect people of African descent from all over the world, sometimes in unexpected places, from Peru to Pakistan, right? From Atlanta to Addis Ababa, from Zurich to Zaire. People of African descent exist all over the world, sometimes in unexpected places. And my role has been to identify these people and celebrate them as part of this UN resolution, this UN decade. And I must tell you, it has given me an opportunity to get closer to creatives. And it has truly been a great experience connecting with you, understanding the value and the gift that you are to the world. So again, I think my closing thought, today in this, time of celebrating creatives, is to let you know that we love you. The world values you, even sometimes we might not be able to express that. I'm here, just to say this on behalf of all of humanity, that your contribution to our collective is recognized. And I want to say congratulations to all my co-panelists. You're all doing some amazing work. I am truly inspired just listening to you. So I would stop there and hand it back over to Yoko so I can learn more. So thank you so much, and God bless everyone.
Thank you so much, Camille, for this wonderful word and the healing that's definitely needed. And that's what we are here for. So thank you. And then next we have another amazing speaker, Kaori Fuji. She is the founder and CEO of Music Beyond. So Kaori-san, please take it away.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Oh my God, what an inspiring morning it has been. I feel like I've heard so much, I've learned so much. I just want to like say thank you and call it a day. But my name is Kauri. I am the founder of a small nonprofit organization called Music Beyond. Music Beyond, basically what we do is like we harnesses the power of music to empower people's lives in the Democratic Republic of Congo in Central Africa. So I just want to give a little bit of a background about DRC. I'm sure many of you know this, but in the DRC in the last 25, 27 years or so, there are over 5 million people have been displaced, 500,000 people have been killed, and 300,000 girls and women have been raped as a weapon of war. And despite the fact that it is one of the richest countries on earth in terms of minerals, so everything that we use from smartphones to the computers to electric cars to microwave, we all use minerals that is coming from Congo. So it's a really, really, really rich country, but general population are forced to live under $2 a day. So that's Congo. And then I work in Congo. People always say like, okay, but so why music? You know, this country seems to have a lot of problems. They don't have water, they don't have food. Why isn't music a little bit of a luxury? That's a good question. It's a fair question. So now I want you to think for a second about what we live on versus what we live for. We live on water, food, basic sanitation, things like that. It is important to have. We need that to survive, to live, to not die. We need to have that. And then all animals do. We all do. But we humans are wired a little bit more complicated than that actually, and we actually need something to live for, something to work towards, something to look forward to, something that's fulfilling. When we don't have that, that's when we get depressed and all this problem that we get addicted to things, or we get a lot of problems. And it doesn't matter if you're Japanese, Korean, American, Congolese, everybody have that, right? And then, but when we are fulfilled, then we find a purpose in life. We have a purpose in life. And then in confidence, we can build a little bit of a confidence as a person. And that's where we can use music for. Music is something that has been close to everybody's hearts and minds for centuries, in every era, every religion, every culture. I've yet to meet a person who said, I hate music. If you know anyone, please do write that in chat box. I would love to talk to this person. But it just doesn't exist. Like, everybody connect to music in some way, shape, or form, with to dance or to relax or to whatever. But they all do, right? And then, as a matter of fact, Congo is flooded with artistic and musical talent. So why not use what they already have to build a confidence? Now, I would like to tell you a little bit of a story about this one particular lady. Her name is Julie. She was a violinist that I was teaching in DRC. She had been playing the violin in the self-taught orchestra called the Kimbangi Symphony Orchestra for 20-something years. However, she was a really grumpy woman. The first time when I met her, she's not smiling at all. She was sort of like, she looked angry almost. And she's just like, whatever, I'm here, right? I never forced anybody to be there, but she's somehow always there. So I had this amazing translator who is connected to this community that we serve in. So I asked him, he's like, okay, so what's up with Julie? And he said, oh, okay, so Julie went through a lot in her life. So it's just the way she is. But she's here, it means that she's liking it. So just let her be. Just let her be there. So I was like, okay, interesting. So I decided to give her a little extra attention. When I tell other people 3 things, I would tell her 5 things, even though she didn't seem to be liking it so much. But I just kept on going. A few trips later, she said, Kauri, next time when you come back, I want to play a duet with you. And this comes from a lady who never wanted to do anything. She was sitting in the back of the room, back of the room. And then she plays the violin as if she really doesn't care. So everything sounds like, that's the only thing that she sounds like, really. But she said that she wants to play a duet with me. So I said, amazing, of course. But if you want to do that, you have to do X, Y, and Z. You have to practice this, you have to do this, da 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 da. I gave her quite a bit of an homework, actually, for the next few months to work on. A few months later, I came back, and then I reached the rehearsal site, and then I hear the sound of a violin, and I was like, oh, it sounded pretty good. I wonder who that is. I turned the corner. I saw Julie. She was a different person, really. And I asked her, I said, Julie, what happened? What did you do? And she said, well, you told me how to practice, so I did. From that moment on, she started to blossom, not just as a violinist, but as a person. She started to laugh, she started to smile, she started to make jokes, she started to say more things in this woman's ensemble. We have the all woman ensemble in Congo that we started, and she's in this ensemble, and she started saying other things, and the other members of the ensemble started to respect her. It's like, oh my God, Julie's sounding great, right? A few trips later, she came to me and she said, okay, I want to thank you. I said, okay, for what? She said, I have been making juice, but I never sold the juice because I never thought it was good enough. So what I did was I make the juice, I bottle it, and I give it to my neighbors in exchange of something. So here's 3 bottles of juice. Can you give me, can you sew 3 dresses? Or here's 5 bottles of juice. Can you fix my roof? Stuff like that, right? But she said, and then I always knew that I'm really bad at violin. But after working so hard with you, I could even hear that I got better. Even my husband, who never understood why I want to play the violin, realized that I'm getting better. So compared to the violin, juice was a lot better to begin with. So I asked my friends and, my husband for the comment, what she thinks. She improved on the recipe. I bought new bottles. I printed out labels. And I went to the market and sold it for the first time. So this is in her 40s, middle-aged woman. She made money for the first time in her life. And then it's not about how much money she made. It's about that she had enough confidence to actually go to the market. And then trust me, going to a market in Kinshasa, in Congo, and claim your spot, it's not easy. But she did it. And that is the success story of Music Beyond, and that is the purpose and the goal of Music Beyond, to build confidence, help them thrive in any path that they choose in their lives, and create role models and community leaders from that through, and the music is just a vehicle for it. So my closing thought is, can music be utilized for sustainable community development and social change? I absolutely think that we can, that it can. Music can be utilized for it. Music, arts, things like that. And all these incredible Congolese people that I get to work with, that I'm so fortunate to work with, men and women, are really the living example of that. And I am a professional musician, I'm a professional flutist. I didn't realize the power of music until I started working with them. And it's quite amazing what I can do. A little bit of confidence, a little bit of support, and a little bit of confidence, what I can do to people, whether you're a child or an adult. It's really amazing. And creativity always plays a role in that. So that is my thought of this morning. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. I hope everybody is just as inspired as I am hearing all these beautiful stories and beautiful remarks. And I want to bring every panelist really quick so that we can have one last question for everyone. Just going to spotlight everyone. Thank you so much. So thank you, panelists. Appreciate you. So this year, 2021, as everybody mentioned, is an international year of creative economy for sustainable development. And especially with the impact of pandemic, people are more aware of how essential art and culture are, how significant creative economies in our life, not only locally, but globally. And we heard from all the perspective today. And first, thank you so much for your time and sharing your story. And we are entering the new era. We're entering the new era. People are returning to global travel. People are opening up theaters, and everything is moving towards the new era. We're getting close to the end of 2021. So how can creative industry thrive, and how can art and culture thrive, and to support and truly become a part of sustainable development goal? I know it's a big question, but I would love for each and every one of the panelists to say 1 or 2 sentences. Anybody can start. Please.
I think that the arts and culture direct people's attention towards what's important, or make so anything that happens politically or economically, I think is preceded by the arts and the culture moving and directing people's attention towards that particular issue or something that needs to happen. So I think that artists and people who create culture in that way should be aware of that attention in our economy is a valuable resource, and artists more so than many other classes of people are able to garner that and then point it and direct it towards something. That's all I gotta say.
I was gonna say, art makes it relatable and everyone sees things in different ways. Just in an artist creates, everyone has their unique perspective, but they're able to share their own story and what's going on around. It'll attract different people. So the more artists there are, the more you'll be able to attract different types of people and how they actually relate to something.
Yes.
All right.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
oh, you go.
Sorry.
No, you go.
No. Okay, thank
Go ahead,
you.
Magda.
Yes. So I want to mention, first of all, this economic perspective, just to bring to your attention the fact that arts and cultures represent 6% of the global GDP. But apart from this economic impact, I will again underline, as I said in my intervention, that the social impact for me is the greatest contribution that arts and culture can bring to today's development goals. And not only through arts, because the same way that Kaori has mentioned, we're using this as an instrument, as a tool to talk to people's humanity and hearts and minds. This is, at least for us, one crucial vehicle, because it reaches people in a way that not, any other instrument of communication, where all the instruments of communications have failed. And at least in the traditional diplomatic world, we are currently facing a deficit of democracy, deficit of trust, deficit of engagement. And we're seeking a greater engagement, greater involvement. And I think that the music and arts are a very powerful tool to reach, as I said, people's attentions, engagement, and feelings and emotions and passion.
All right. That's very important. And thank you for the amazing work you do. Yesterday was the International Day of Peace. So I see you smiling, so that means there's enough peace in the world, right? So to world peace, yes. So well done. Now, let me chime in very quickly, and the way the approach I would take to this is what I know and what is my element, which is connectivity and building partnerships. To answer that question, Yoko, that you asked, is allyship of the creative world, to other, pillars of society. So the politics to business, right, to media and culture, which is where you sit, and to the humanitarian work. For me would be, what I would leave as a call to action for each of you. I mean, just listening to Cario, Fiji, and the work that she's doing in Africa, I am inspired to connect with her and to give her a platform at the United Nations to share this message, this work that she does in the Congo. I didn't even know about that. So I'll use this platform again to show you what connectivity looks like. So we are hosting during following the opening of the UN General Assembly, our recognition week, which we do at the UN. And we're going to be doing that at One UN this year. I would love to, and CNN is the partner, the official partner. So we're working with the UN and CNN to amplify the kind of narrative. Yes, the upcoming, MyPad conference. Cario, am I pronouncing your name right? Fiji, is that correct?
Cowrie, Fiji.
Cowrie.
Yeah, close enough. Call me Bob. Anything
Cowrie.
is fine.
No. This is incredible. The work that you're doing, we need to, and that's what we do with MyPad. We amplify these kind of impact stories. And as a creative, to be able to reach out and have allies. This opportunity I just put on the table will put you in front of world leaders, will put you on CNN, right, for this work that you do. It is in those kind of allyship that the work that you do would get the the support that you require, and also to inspire. Just incredible, truly incredible. So that's my final thought. Really, I would operate from what I know best, which is creating connections, creating partnerships, because you cannot do it alone, and it's able to create those ecosystem that could really move the needles. That's what I live for. Those are the possibilities I love to create. So Yoko, you did it. Heal the world, you connect, and then let's create some change. I love you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much. And, very, very, very quickly, I absolutely agree with this partnership and allyship. Is that what you said, Camille? I think that is key, really, for sustainable development. And the great thing about arts and music is that we really don't create enemies too much. There's no winner and loser, or you know what I mean? So it's like that makes it, but it's actually pretty powerful if we want it to be powerful. So I think the arts and arts and culture, arts and music has a role to play in a sustainable development, together with partnership and allyship, definitely, for sure.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Yuko-san, for creating this platform. This has been absolutely amazing, absolutely. And Camille, I'll email you.
Yes, please, let's connect. And for all the
Yes.
other creatives, again, we're working with CNN. We have content for you to help you develop. We have a masterclass that CNN Films and CNN Original Series is hosting. Thank you, Yoko, for sharing that. It's in the chat. Please attend. We've been able to bring one of the biggest media companies in the world to support creatives. Not just, they're also hiring, so to hire you, to train you, and all of this is free. So please show up, be a part of it. It's a masterclass. It's truly, truly amazing. We want to support the creative world. You're not alone. All right, we're out here. We just need to know you and see how best we can support you.
Amazing. Thank you, all the speakers. Thank you. And as we are closing getting closer to closing. This is what happens when I'm multitasking, trying to do everything. I forgot how to speak. And now we're back. Okay, I really want to be mindful of everyone's time as well. So once we close, I will be screening one of our episode. We here at the Untitled Storytellers, we're all about collaborating, having a partnership so that we can amplify the voices. We can amplify the different voices, and how can we turn that into an action step, the call to action all the speakers have been mentioning. So if you want to stay longer, please do. And we also have screening coming up here in New York. And if you are not in New York and want to participate on a virtual, please reach out to me for Untitled Storytellers, and we'll love to chat with you and create partnership and job creation. And please, as a call to action for me, and please talk and share about wonderful things you learned. Look into organization and partners that you learned about today. And it is very important that we take actions. We lead people, we connect with people, we heal each other. Most importantly, we heal ourselves. And just as a thank you for spending time with us today, and we'll be sending a downloadable link of all the resources, including the information about partners, as well as all the amazing partners that I personally worked with up until this point. And you'll be learning more from them. So please be on the lookout, and you'll also be being invited for the screening that's coming up. And last but not least, to close this event, I would love to invite an amazing friend of mine and also musician, Shavantha, who is currently based in Australia. So I will play a video from him so that we can celebrate creative industry conversation together. And if anybody wants to stay after Shavantha's music, please hang out. I'll be on for a while. So let's hear it from Shavantha.
Hi guys, thank you for having me tonight. Yuko, it's really awesome to be here. You're doing some amazing things, and I'm really happy and proud to be part of the creative future, you know. Thank you for doing this. On a good note, guys, I just booked my first acting gig in 2 years. 2 years. I booked it at the biggest theater company in this country, the Melbourne Theater Company, one of two actually, and it's to do Shakespeare. So I'm pretty rapt. It's As You Like It. For those of you who don't know me, guys, my name is Shavantha. I'm a musician and I'm an actor. I lived in New York City for 10 years, and I'm currently based in Melbourne in Australia, so I'm 14 hours ahead of you guys. I'm going to play you a song, and this song is called Alita, which in Latin, or really in Italian and Spanish, means little wing. And this song goes out to all those people who in this moment are struggling, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually. If you are in a place where you've lost hope, or you're in a place where you don't have purpose, hang in there, yeah? And keep digging deeper, keep digging, keep finding, keep searching, keep looking. This song's for you. By your side, by your side. Little wing, don't cry, you'll be flying high tonight. I believe in the things you thought you could be, but were scared to reach. Little wing, don't hide, it's your time to shine bright. So take flight and go laughing with your angels and your demons right by your side, right by your side. So listen with care to the voice of truth inside, for it is love of life so pure personified in you. And though you'll bleed and burn at every turn and be crucified, by God will you live, and they'll believe it in your eyes that you truly try, truly try, truly try. Bird with faith in his eyes, though the dawn is dark, he feels the light. Like the bird with faith in his eyes, though the dawn is dark, he feels the light. Like the bird with faith in his eyes, though the dawn is dark, feels the light. Like the bird with faith in his eyes, though the dawn is dark, feels the light. Alita, don't cry. Alita, you'll be flying high tonight. Alita, no, don't you hide, please. Go laughing with your angels and your demons riding by your side. With your angels and your demons, go riding by your side. With your angels and your demons, go riding by your side. Alita. Guys, thank you so much. Yuko, looking forward to the rest of tonight. Thank you. You guys rock. Peace out.
Thank you, Shivanta, for a beautiful voice. And if you want to learn more about Shivanta, I'm pretty sure it's in the chat. And please watch his documentary, Finding Clarity, actually collaboration between top storytellers, cinematographer, Michael Catron and Shivanta's. It'll be beautiful, beautiful, beautiful journey that you will be witnessing. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Yuko. I am an executive producer of Untitled Storytellers. And if you have any question, I'll be staying here for a little more while. So please feel free to stay and chat with me or contact us. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, all the speakers.
Thank you so much, Yuko. You're so amazing. Thank you for this opportunity, this platform, and everything you do and the person you are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Really beautiful event.
Thank you, Veronica. I appreciate you so much.